What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one was played at Blizzcon 2018, which of course is the global finals of Starcraft 2. Spawning here in the top right hand corner of Lost and Found LE, playing with the blue Zerg pieces. He's currently down in this series, but certainly not out of it just yet. His name is Nerchio. And his opponent spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to close this best of 3 series out right here and right now. His name is Classic. So, guys and girls, game number 1 was a lot of fun to watch. There were moments where it felt like Nerchio had the lead, and then there were moments that Classic did. But in the end, Classic showed us why he is currently one of the best Protoss players on the planet, just overwhelming his opponent eventually in that in that first game. I mean, absolutely incredible play there by Classic in game number 1, and I am very excited to see what he decides to do here in game number 2. Nerchio, on the other hand, the big question is if you were Nerchio, would you decide to go for something relatively standard once again, or would you go for some timing pushes or a little bit of some cheese? That is something that I think, a lot of these players, a lot of things are going through their head as to, how they want to approach something. And I feel like Nerchio probably thinks to himself that he had Classic at multiple times in that first game, but it was really the Zealot run-bys and really losing his main hatchery that, of course, was morphed to a lair. Losing that really put Nerchio behind as far as the supply went, but also the being able to consistently create more and more of an army composition. I think that's what really set him back. But nonetheless, let's see what these two players are doing right now. And it looks like Classic's going for a relatively standard gateway into the Cybernetics core and then into the Natural Nexus, whereas we see a hatch gas pool opener coming out of Nerchio. It does look like we're going to see that Zergling speed upgrade coming in right away from Nerchio, and we are going to see the tech of choice coming out of Classic as in the Stargate. So very standard, though, by both these players. Nothing too out of the ordinary as of yet. Classic is going to start moving across the map with his Adept. And I wonder if, I believe Classic probably just scouted just to see if there was any type of cheese coming out of his opponent. The Warp Gate research is going to be coming in for Classic. And sooner than later, we are going to kind of see what these two players decide to do as far as army compositions. Does look like the Phoenix is what's going to be coming out of that Stargate. Probably going to go ahead and shoo away at this Overlord across the map. Third hatchery is going to be coming in for Nerchio. I'm going to try to get the kill on this. On this Adept here, not getting that kill. Looks like this Adept is going to try to get more and more of those kills. A couple of kills were, were put into effect there by Classic, so well done by him, getting, getting some value out of those Adepts. Second gateway is going to be coming in for Classic, as well as a Oracle follow-up. Out of that Stargate, we are going to see the robotics facility coming in as well for Classic, and then so like I said, it's still pretty standard. I'm wondering what kind of army composition we're going to see out of our Protoss player, especially. I'm interested to see if Nerchio decides to do anything completely out of the ordinary either. He is going to be getting that lair at about a little bit past the 4-minute mark here in this game. So both these players seem to be giving each other a lot of respect at this point. Warpgate research is going to be finished at this point in the game. And I think, what it really comes down to, guys, is since these players have played each other so much, we really see, a lot of these players decide to, give each other, a lot of that respect that they do deserve in these matchups. I mean, it's very important to have that because you gotta be very careful when you like, because every game does count in a best of 3 series. You know, Classic is on match point right now, so Nerchio has to be thinking, you know, he cannot make any mistakes in this game right now. Hydralisk Den is coming in for Nerchio, and then we are also going to see the Baneling Nest coming out of Nerchio as well. So we're going to see probably a Ling Bane Hydra composition once again out of Nerchio. And then on the opposite side, it looks like some of the same. We are going to see, you know, the Charge being researched out of the Twilight Council. And then we're also going to see a couple more gateways on that production tab. Storm is being researched as well. So it looks like both players are really going for very similar unit compositions at this point in the game. Nothing has changed too much. Muscular Augments is being researched by Nerchio as well for those Hydralisks. And as you can see, guys, this is really a series of mind games, you know, between these two players. It's just interesting that both of them have decided to do very similar builds to what they did in game number 1. Classic, feeling pretty confident, is going ahead and getting that third Nexus out right now. And it looks like the Forge is going to be coming in as well. And then, of course, we're going to see a couple more gateways coming in as well. And I'm assuming we're going to see those +1 upgrades coming out of the Forge for the ground-based units. We are seeing Immortals coming out of the robotics facility right now, as well as those High Templar. So Muscular Augments as well as Psionic Storm are finishing up right now. And it does look like, once again, guys, we are seeing, you know, a lot of respect given by both of these players. You know, no real aggression. It felt like in game number 1 that aggression really happened once Nerchio started putting on a little bit of pressure. Then you saw, you know, Classic react with, you know, some of the drop play as well as the run-bys with those Zealots. But we are going to see, you know, those Zerglings as well as those Hydralisks. The roly-poly upgrade for the Zerglings is going to be coming out, as well as the Overlord speed upgrade. And we are going to see, of course, the Evolution Chamber going down at this point as well. 4th base is going to be coming up as well for Nerchio. So we are setting ourselves up for a, you know, a macro-focused game, and I love it. I love the ZVP matchup. It is so much fun to watch because it all comes down to engagements. It really does. And a lot of those mind games like we had in game number 1, which I'm assuming we're probably going to get here in game number 2 as well. So Nerchio does have a, technically speaking, has a supply advantage over his opponent. But that should be evening up here relatively, you know, relatively shortly, I would say, simply because, you know, some of these units that Nerchio has out on the field are a little bit more supply heavy. We are going to go ahead and we are going to see +1 coming out of the Evolution Chamber. We see that Infestation Pit going down. So we are most likely going to see the Hive units coming in relatively shortly as we approach the 8.5 minute mark. And I like how Nerchio does have a little bit of some defense here, you know, in the event that there is a run by or some drop play. This creep spread is starting to get a little bit out of hand though, and I wonder if Classic should maybe start trying to clear out some of this creep spread. And here we go. It does look like that Overlord is gonna you know, be spreading some creep to kind of delay that 4th base, and it looks like Nerchio is going to start to move in towards that 3rd base location. A lot of photon cannons are here as well. So here we go. Mass Revelation is coming in, and it does look like our Zerg player is going to start to move. We are going to see once again those Swarm Hosts, and I don't know if I really like the Swarm Hosts in this matchup. When we are seeing, you know, the High Templar as well as the Immortals, I don't know if I really like the decision to get all of these Swarm Hosts. Beautiful Storm is going to come in here. We are going to see some of those Locusts are going to start moving here. Some of them are doing absolutely nothing at this point. A little bit of some missed micro here. by Nerchio, not using some of those, has not used some of those locusts right now, and it does look like we are going to see a couple of hits at multiple different angles, and I love this decision a ton. Those banelings are going to be rolling in, taking out so many units. Beautiful play here by Nerchio, and it looks like the first big engagement did happen, and there is more and more of these units that are going to start moving in. There was a beautifully done here by Classic, but even though we did see, you know, some really nice play with the stasis wards and placements on those, right now, you know, the Zerg player did take a lead there, and it does look like, you know, Classic has had enough. He's going to start moving in here, and I love the decision by Classic to start moving on to creep here with all these units. These Immortals, there is a lot of Immortals and a lot of High Templar, and this is a scary push by Classic. He's starting to move in near the 11-minute mark. There are going to be some Locusts. Got to be very careful that you do not get the surround here on all these units. Beautiful storms once again. The beautiful pickup micro, but just once again, Classic is just showing why he is such a beast with the Protoss pieces. Those storms are doing so much damage right now, and here comes Classic marching on to creep, moving towards that natural base location of the Zerg, and there is not much right now that our Zerg player can do. A big Warpin is coming in near of course that natural expansion, and Classic takes out that natural base expansion, and now going after all of those Locusts and as well as the Swarm host. Beautiful connections here by our Protoss player, just clearing out literally everything. The question is, though, is Classic overextending right now? He is continuing this push, moving into that third base location, going after all of these drones and units coming out of this base. This is absolutely just textbook Protoss play right now. I'm just wondering, is he overextending just a little bit too much on creep? There is, of course, going to be, you know, a couple other bases here for our Zerg player, but this is just massive as far as Classic is now taking such a nice lead here against his opponent. You know, we got +2/+2 that's going to be finishing up now for Nerchio. But I am so worried now for Nerchio. He does not have the necessary, you know, his economy is being, you know, is kind of being ripped apart. And I think he's going to be forced into an all-in here once again in this game. And Classic is showing us, guys, no matter how big of a push you put on him as far as, you know, rolling in a bunch of Banelings, whatever the case might be, you are going to see that he can really handle it, and he'll go for a counterattack that will just overwhelm your economy and your army if you even overextend just a little bit. And I think that might have been exactly what our Zerg player did, you know, at that point in the game as we approach the 13.5-minute mark. See that drop? There was a fake drop there, and it looked like Classic moved a lot of those drones, or I should say probes, just in case, you know, it was going to be a drop on, you know, a Baneling drop on all those units. So a lot of these units are just going to go ahead, and there's just so many Immortals. I mean, this is a terrifying army that Classic has right now. It's such a powerful army. It's not the sheer size of the army, it's just the units he has and the amount of units he has. Just, you know, so many Immortals are going to do so much damage to this army composition. Does look like the Greater Spire is going to be coming in, and I do like that decision a lot by our Zerg player here to start probably getting some of those, you know, getting some Corruptors out, then getting those Brood Lords. We are going to go ahead and we are going to see the Mothership coming out as well, and I like that decision a lot by our Protoss player. So the question is, another Zealot run by. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this because here we go. It looks like once again Nerchio's gonna try to get this round, but the storms are absolutely devastating this army of Nerchio. Nerchio is trying everything he can to get a good connection as far as getting a nice surround, and it is just not working. And once again, these Zealot run-bys are doing so much damage, but this time they are not able to get that third base location once again. But it does look like Classic does not plan on stopping at any point soon. He's going to continue moving on to creep, and he's going after that fourth base location of the Zerg, directly target firing it down and taking it down in a matter of seconds. And now he's moving towards the fourth base location, or I should say the fifth base location of the Zerg. GG is called, and Classic wins this matchup between Nerchio in a best-of-3 series, winning it 2-0. I hope you guys did enjoy this series and this matchup between Classic and Nerchio, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.